going to ask these gentlemen to just give an overview of their companies, and then I'll ask some questions probably right after their overview, and then we'll have a bit of a roundtable. We'll take some questions from the audience, okay? And first, if you don't mind, sir, Mr. Jones sitting next to me, tell me about Alpha Copper, because I'm unfamiliar with the company. I'd like to learn everything about it.
Yeah, thank you, Ellis. Alpha Copper is a BC-focused company which recently acquired Cavu Energy Metals, which has the Hopper project about 2 hours drive from Whitehorse. And we are copper-focused with, like I said, 4 projects, all exploration-based. And the Hopper project is one which we are planning an aggressive program right now. We'll see how 23 shakes out. But we're excited, obviously, to have the new assets in the door and just getting more familiar with what's been done up there.
And let me ask you, you've got 4 projects. What kind of copper is it?
Yeah, so the project in the Yukon, the Hopper, is predominantly a skarn system right now, but Yap and Luke, our technical team, have done extensive work up there. We believe there's a porphyry to be located. I'm going to say about 6 holes were put into that porphyry system, which we think we've hit the edges of it. So, the plan is to get back up there, put a little bit more into the skarn, and then look to test the porphyry with some additional drilling.
And what is your plan long term? Because I know it's a part of the world where the jurisdiction and the government are extremely active. Permits happen fast over there, and we have a producer like Minto, which I've actually been there and I've seen that mine. So, what is your long term goal? Will you plan to be taken out someday, or will you produce?
Yeah, ultimately, one of those 2 scenarios is perfect. Taken out would be glorious, but we're going to work the project and look to develop either the skarn or the porphyry as far as we can. Obviously, the Yukon government, very active. We just received a 10-year permit on the Hopper, so we're ready to go.
And if you don't mind, give us an idea of the share structure.
The share structure, there's 52 million shares issued right now. We've got about $2 million, but we've got a very strong capital backing. So, we'll put together a budget on Hopper and the other projects and hit the ground running.
And you're trading at?
27 cents.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Mr. Scott Petsel, the president of Metallic Minerals Corporation. You have projects in the Yukon and in Colorado. Let's talk about the Yukon.
Well, we do. Metallic Minerals is a precious and base metal explorer, developer with 2 key projects in the Yukon. Normally we'd say 2 key projects for our company, but with a recent announcement of a royalty production agreement on alluvial ground in the Klondike with Parker Schnabel of the hit show Gold Rush on the Discovery Channel, we've become a potentially a revenue-generating company, which will be great for us. But that is really the 3rd leg of our company, and will be one that really stands tall for us. Our other key project in the Yukon territories is our Keno Silver project, where we've been exploring since 2016. Been able to make some very significant discoveries in 2020 that we've parlayed into a near-term resource or resource-ready target. And we're working on identifying, or we have identified, over 40 different Keno-style silver, lead, zinc targets in the famous Keno Silver District, where over 200 million ounces of silver has been produced, and Hecla holds over 120 million ounces of resources and reserves in the district, where they are looking to turn back on production of their operation in Q3, early Q4 of this year. So we're actively exploring. We've got not only the 40 targets that we've identified, but 5 targets that we're very near term on in the sense of resource, developing a 43-101 compliant resource on these 5 targets. And I'll leave it there.
So tell me, how closely is Hecla taking a look at you now at all? Are you guys in any kind of conversation? I know it's too early, but I'm just curious as to, the future direction of your company potentially, since M&As do happen in the Yukon and they will continue to happen.
Well, we've worked hard to make sure they know that we're around and they see us and they know what we're doing. We've established and developed, I think, very good relationships with their staff on a personal level, having worked with many of them in the past. And so, they've put a lot of money out to acquire Alexco in September of 2022. They're working to put a lot of money into the ground to make sure that they can restart their operations and have enough headings to support the mill at a sort of 440 ton per day rate. It's very high grade copper, so that's really a lot in that district. But they know who we are, and they'll continue to monitor, and when the time is right for them financially, I'm sure they'll be knocking on our door at some level.
Thank you very much, Scott. Matt Turner, the CEO, the president of Rockhaven Resources. Tell us about the Closet Project and what you're doing in that area.
First off, thanks, Ellis, for moderating today's session and all the trips that you've made up to the Yukon and all the support that you've shown Yukon-based companies over the years. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So I'm president CEO of Rockhaven Resources. My name is Matt Turner, and we've been working on a project. Actually, it's in the slide deck right above there. That's a picture of some of the many meters of core we've drilled over the years. We're at 130,000 to date, over 600 drill holes. So we've done a lot of work since 2010 when we acquired the property. Included with that is a number of resource estimates, 2 economic studies, the most recent of which was done in 2020, showed very robust economics at $14.50 gold and $17 silver. And what we're doing now is, and we've just kind of finished up on the infill drilling of the resources to take as much of what remained in the inferred category into indicated, and we're taking that resource into, or that drilling into resources, and then following that, once that's out, we're going to be doing a pre-feasibility study. So lots of near-term catalysts, including some of the results from that infill drilling. The first of which we put out a couple weeks ago, and it included one notable bonanza grade intercept over 100 grams over 1.3 meters. So pretty nice results coming out from this year. And again, we're looking forward to what it's going to be leading to and for the future milestones for the company.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Matt. Yes, I've been I like to consider myself a friend and a partner of the Yukon for probably 10 years now, give or take a year. I'm not quite sure, and I have to tell you, it's a wonderful jurisdiction, wonderful place in the world to be, and there's so much communion between everybody there, the First Nations, the companies, the residents, definitely the provincial government, to get things done and to move things along. As a result, we've seen some mines like Victoria and Minto and others during the course of the last few years go into production and draw a lot of attention to the region. What I want to ask you, gentlemen, first off here is, between now and last year, let's just go back a year. What has been the sentiment with regard to moving things forward? Has the pace increased because the market was it slow last year and the pace just increasing now, or how have you been preparing for the obvious run that we're in right now, a continued extension of probably a 14-year bull market with a nice downturn last year, or not nice downturn last year? What is the calculus? How's that changed for you? We'll start with you, sir.
It's a great question. I mean, certainly last year was slow. We took it upon ourselves to raise a significant amount of capital, overcapitalize the company, and start spending while things were slow, because we all know that as things ramp up, everything becomes more expensive. Obviously, drilling costs, crew costs, everything. So, establishing yourself and being able to come out with results or resources like the other two companies up here is key. And you also want to have market attention during that time, so that when the market does turn, you have the results and the eyeballs. So I think that the market's setting up, in my opinion, from a capital markets background. Money is going to be spent, and really, a big discovery or some M&A would be a big boost to everybody, especially in the Yukon.
Is that money starting to come back now?
In terms of capital raising, right. I think we have had a great support network from our fundraisers, and we haven't had a big problem raising it. I worked with a company. I'm still working with Alpha Lithium on the lithium side in Argentina, and we spun out the idea of Alpha Copper because we knew that there was going to be a big push for this green energy electrification, and copper being one of the biggest by-weight components of the electric cars. We saw a great opportunity, and we raised all of our money about a year and a half ago, and I haven't gone back to the market, so I can't speak to where it's at now, but it certainly feels like there is a renewed interest. We've had a few groups reach out to us on sort of a larger fund basis to deploy capital, but we haven't taken that yet.
Thank you. Now, Scott, you mentioned a royalty that you're getting now from a gold-related project, which I think is fantastic. But how does that change? How does it change the dynamic with you? How much does it augment the constant struggle it is for a junior mining company in a great jurisdiction that still needs to raise funds to do the work that you're mandated to do?
Yeah, well, just addressing your last question, I think if you look at this conference from last year, and you look at the energy that was here last year versus this year, you really see a great increase in the energy level, which should increase the amount of activity or investment interest. And our company's prepared for that. We've got projects, we've got targets, we're really set up well to continue. But what happens in the idea of having a revenue stream or a royalty stream that helps us, it puts a foundation to the company there that allows us to continue to operate even in the worst market cycles. And we'll be able to offset our exploration cost, lower dilution as we continue to raise money to do bigger programs, and just stabilize our whole effort, which is really, I think, unique in the junior market. You see a lot of companies with great projects, maybe one, maybe two. We've got two great projects and a royalty stream, and it's certainly going to enhance what we do and how we do it going forward.
This new royalty aspect of your business makes you sort of a mini project generator. Can we see more to come with all the land that you have?
Well, I think that is key. The royalty agreement that we have seen or recently signed with Parker and Little Flake Mining in the Klondike is but less than 10% of the alluvial land holdings that we have in the Klondike district. We control basically Australia Creek, which is the southern end of the district, which was held in reserve by one of the old-time Yukon mining companies, placer mining companies, for water and power generation in the district to support the floating dredges in Indian Creek and other areas. And when that was lifted, those claims were acquired by someone near and dear to us that has provided us with those claims over time, and we have the room for as many as 10 other operators or more. And if we're looking at anywhere from, depending on the operator, the idea of production from 2,000 to 10,000 ounces a year per operator, it could really be substantial at a 10 to 15% royalty.
In that scenario, does that qualify you more or less as a producer as well? Can you claim that?
Good thought. Why not? Sure.
Okay.
I'm on it. Yeah.
I'm just thinking of things as from a marketing standpoint of view, and when you're a near producer or a producer, it just has more gravitas. In the general market, and even in this market, where folks want to know, well, are you producing? Are you going to produce? When are you going to produce? So Greenfield. And Greenfield, with regard to copper, is kind of a good thing. Maybe not so much in gold, but with copper and the crunch going on, you need copper. You want those Greenfield projects going 5, 10, 15, 20 years out. So production, yes, is vital, but, we're never going to catch up with the coming demand, right? Right, Darryl?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you can pull stats from Goldman Sachs anywhere. Major investment in copper is needed, and major mine discovery is needed now. So it's a great place to be, and we're hoping that obviously the market opens wide and there's renewed interest for all these Yukon explorers.
Now, Matt, this isn't always consistent in the Yukon, but you've identified 14 high-grade gold and silver zones. at Plaza and high grade in an area that is sometimes problematic but always getting better in the Yukon with regard to infrastructure and accessibility and seasons and all that. I imagine it's probably a bit easier for you now to raise money for continued exploration and development. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah, no, I think you're right, Ellis, for sure. As we've moved closer to the PFS, I think it's attracted different groups and groups that are really focused on, what would be, considered, near production type. I'm not saying that we are near production, but at least we're a lot further along than just having some soil samples. You know what I mean? We've got a resource, we've got economics, and now as we, turn into the PFS stage, after we get that, then we can start on the actual, on the permitting stream, which is what a lot of money is looking for right now. Something, projects that are on their way through permitting, and that, assuming there's, pretty well established timelines in those jurisdictions, then that's what they're looking towards. So yeah, I'd say it's we're definitely in a good place, and more so too in the Yukon. Really the last, say, 5 years, it's been a show me market, and that includes getting mines permitted. And you look at Victoria Gold, the success they've had at Eagle. It's not only helped the Yukon for their economics and for the citizens of the Yukon, but also the perception of permitting and operating in the Yukon. So.
You mentioned Show Me. I used to live in the state of Missouri for a bit in the mid-'90s. It's called the Show Me State. It's a very conservative part of North America, and nobody believes anything, and you actually do it. So talk is cheap. And I know you're from the Kansas City area, Scott. How important it is, in your opinion, to show not just investors, but producers and mid-tier producers, the majors, like what you're doing in the area, and how much are they looking over your shoulder and breathing down your neck?
Well, I think it's a great question. And I was born in St. Louis, too. So raised in Kansas City, born in St. Louis. So I consider myself a show me state guy. The idea, I think it applies, is that we have 3 great projects. We've got some substantial targets. We come out, we tell the market what we're going to do, and then we do it. And we deliver really good results in the process. And I think that's evident. Over the last 6 months or a year, we've really worked hard to get this alluvial agreement in place. We told people there were going to be updates on our alluvial portfolio, and we were able to provide this very substantial release on that agreement. With respect to Keno, we had a modest drill program last year at our Keno Silver project. We drilled 3,200 meters, but we had hit basically on 20 of 23 drill holes with a resource ready or resource target focus, and really maximize those results. So we communicate to the market what we're going to do, go do it, and come back and really prove up that we're able to not only succeed in our goals, but to bring back really good results as well. And that just generates that attention from those majors, and they start hunting around. Okay, what are you actually doing? What is this? Oh, you got 4 meters at over 1,000 grams at Formo, which we call the fear of really missing out target. So the Formo target is, one of the top high-grade targets. People take notice of that. Hecla will take notice of that, and others on our copper property in Southwest Colorado. Those majors are already starting to look over our shoulder, and they want to continue to see some good results as we build or expand our resource there.
It'd be kind of nice, hypothetically, if the market, your market, has a run before even any M&A is considered. I remember years ago, I won't mention any names, and it wasn't too long ago, of some some exploration development companies in Mexico that had a $10 or $20 stock and not day one of production just because of the grade. And you have that grade, so anything can happen. Darryl, what's on your wish list for 2023? What do you really want?
Oh, it's a great question. What is on the wish list? I mean, we've got a suite of projects which are all very, very exciting. we'd love to be able to meet the demand, or at the very least show off the projects on a level to, like Scott was talking about, to the majors or to partners that can take a project from the stage that they're at now and run it through, like you said, to production, or ultimately take it over. It would be great to have somebody maybe in the room here make a big discovery or really jumpstart the market. These equity prices rising and more capital coming in and rewarding those shareholders, because ultimately we need the shareholders to be able to put the capital up, and ultimately nobody buys stock to sit on it. They want to make money. So ultimately making money for the shareholders, and then having a discovery which kickstarts the market, and then we're all in a much better place. And then having the ability to do it over and over again, in a long extended market.
Thank you. And Scott, what is on your wish list for 2023?
Well, many things. I'd really like maybe to get a new one of these electric scooters and go around my neighborhood. I think that would be a lot of fun. But no, seriously, we've got a significant amount of targets with this resource stage or advanced stage resource ready targets that we have at our Keno project. They really just need meters. And the more drill meters that we can put into them, the bigger our resource will ultimately be. We've identified the targets. We know the potential is there. We just need to get holes in the ground to expand those targets. And so my wish is that people will see the results that we're putting out and understand the true potential to not only grow a significant resource base on our portion, which is half of the Keno Silver District, and understand that this is really a resource target for Hecla with what is right now and only an 8-year mine life for Hecla at their Keno Hill operations. So they're going to have to replace those resources.
I think we're hearing the subtext loud and clear. Thank you very much, Scott. And Matt, how about you? What would you like for the company for 2023?
I think we've got all of our plans pretty much set for 2023. My big goal is that we get some love on the share price and reward for our shareholders. That's.
You hear that, everyone? Well, fantastic. We have time for 1 or 2 questions from the audience. Anyone?
Hi, thank you for your panel speaking. I'm Sandy, coming from Hong Kong, UBC. I need to know that what's the potential of silver in Yukon, because right now, U.S. sent 10 M2 tanks to Ukrainian, German sent 14, and Canada sent 10. Does Yukon have any silver production for the coming?
Well, I'll just mention our Keno Silver project is in the Keno Silver District, which produced over 200 million ounces, has 120 million ounces in current reserves and resources, and we think as a company that it has over 500 million ounce potential remaining. And that might be a stretch given where we're at, but when you look at the opportunity, it's there. So there really is the ability to grow some silver resources at Keno.
If I can just add too on Scott's, because I had a conversation at the booth about an hour ago with someone. For Rockhaven, we've got about 28 million ounces of silver in resources at Claza. And there's a lot of silver companies that are going into production on projects with less than that in resources. So we could, even though our main focus is gold with over 1 million ounces in resources, there's still a significant amount of silver at Claza that a lot of people forget. So,
Darryl Jones, CEO of Alpha Copper. Scott Petsel, the president of Metallic Minerals, and Matt Turner, the president and CEO of Rockhaven Resources. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you to the Yukon Mining Alliance. I'm Ellis Martin. Cheers.